Hey, what's up, guys? My mission is to free my peoples, the Israelites, from bondage and slavery. Emancipation Proclamation on January the 1st, 1863, was the start of freedom for African Americans. African Americans are still in slavery to today, alongside working class Caucasian Americans. In order to free the slaves, I had to escape slavery myself. It's very hard to free a slave when the person who's freeing is a slave because of the slave mentality, the slave thinking. The slave would just think like a slave instead of a free person. For example, when Moses freed the children of Israel from Egypt, it was slaves that still wanted to go back to Egypt to be a slave because of the slave mentality. The slaves didn't know how to be a free person. They didn't know how to adapt to being a free person. They didn't know how to live as free peoples. In order to have the mindset of freeing, you have to be free from your oppressors. You can't have the same mindset of your oppressors or have the same mindset of a slave. It's two kinds of slaves. It's house slaves and field slaves. House slaves are more as they slave masters. They've been trained to think like they slave masters, to control or manipulate the slaves. A lot of house slaves receive more than the field slaves in order to be able to, let's say, house slaves are giving a supervisor positions over the field slaves, and that would make the house slaves think that they are superior, like they boss, are they masters. White House civil rights leaders are just like house slaves and can't get the working class citizens out of slavery because they think like they're bosses. Everyone God called to free his people had to escape slavery, including Jesus. Jesus worked as a carpenter, and notice how his ministry did not start until he quit his job and then he got tested by Satan. Harriet Tubman had to escape slavery before her mission of freeing the slaves started. Moses had to escape the Egyptians, which before his ministry of freeing the slaves started. The 12 disciples had to quit their jobs. Andrew, Peter, James, and John, the sons of thunder, work as fishermen. Matthew 4:18. The Bible states that these two men weren't just fishermen, but business owners, along with their fathers, for they employed others in the businesses. God's people can't focus on God because of their minds of working, paying bills, and providing. That was make them in captivity because they can't serve their God with a full heart. I haven't added up everything else, like government policies, government entities like jail systems and tax of all sorts, equals slavery upon slavery and poverty. Where does our energy source come from? Drinking water comes from rivers, streams, and pumps from the ground. Why do they need money to replace or keep up something they have no control over, or even can not replace? So why do we get a bill every month saying we owe for using something that is free and comes out of the earth. For example, you get a bill, we use up 80 kilometers of lights and gas. How do you use up 80 kilometers of energy affect them, and how did they lose money by using up something that is free and comes from the earth, out from God? It's a whole lot of things that we pay for, but it's manipulated. Um, the whole system is manipulated, for the people can pay and pay, instead of owe and owe and owe every month. You will never get through paying for something. You will always have to work, 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 work. All right, guys. I love you guys.